Whoa. Those cars drive fast.
You can keep your Fast and the Furious. Rush is the movie that made me want to play Mario Kart the second that I got home. So Rush is the story of two competing race car drivers, one of them being James Hunt, played by Thor, the other being Niki Lauda, played by Daniel Brühl. Now, I could give two spoons about race car driving. I don't know anything about automobiles. I call them automobiles. That's how little I know. I know that Ferrari is cool. I don't know why Ferrari is cool. Basically, if I could pick any car in the entire world, I'd pick the Batmobile every time. But this movie puts you in the driver's seat, and it is intense. There are scenes where you feel like you are in the car going 200 miles an hour, I don't even know if that's accurate, and you are holding onto your seat just like... That's the thing with racing and car movies today, is that they've become so just cartoony. It's like, how silly can we possibly make this? But this movie makes it real while still being completely intense and exhilarating. They established from the beginning that this is dangerous and people die in this thing. But you see the zeal and just the passion that these two have for racing, and you're like, yeah, let's do it, let's go all the way. So Thor plays James Hunt, who is, well, if you haven't noticed, Chris Hemsworth is good looking. He's a really good racer, and he's really popular, and he starts to gain all this recognition for what he's doing, and he just eats it up. He's one of those guys who's really good looking and talented and popular, and he knows it, and it kind of makes him into a douchebag. He lives his life completely for fun, and there's something kind of douchebaggy about that, but there's also, something to admire there. And partly because he is played by Chris Hemsworth, you kind of can't help but like him. He just doesn't take himself so seriously. Enter Niki Lauda, who is also kind of a douchebag. But he's also Thor's opposite. He's very cold, he's very calculated, he's very serious about what he does. He's not popular, he's not well-liked, he's not charming, but he is number one. He's like, I am here for one reason, and one reason only, and that is to be number one. He's Austrian, by the way. I probably should have mentioned that before. And the opposites butt heads, they hate each other, but they kind of have this respect for each other, but mostly hate each other. These guys really are multi-layered characters. Like, they're jerks, but you can see what drives them. No pun intended. Now, regarding sports movies, there is a formula that a lot of them follow. I call it the Mighty Ducks formula. You have this team and they're underdogs, and then they get popular, and then they go up against the Icelandic team. Someone might get injured. And this movie does use some of those tropes, but the way that it's put together, it works really, really well. And the fact that it focuses on these two characters who you genuinely want to see both of them succeed. It feels much more real, and it lets the drama play out like real-life drama does. And I was surprised that both the Austrian dude and Thor both give really good performances. This movie was directed by Ron Howard, aka Opie. I kind of couldn't help but imagine what it would have been like if Ron Howard had narrated some of this movie, like an episode of Arrested Development. So then Niki Lauda decided he would go and ask George Michael for help. Ron Howard really has made a variety of movies, a lot of them really good, and some of them not so much. But I would definitely say this is easily one of his best movies. He takes this true story and, kind of like Frost Nixon, he gives it a documentary feel without really compromising any of the suspense or any of the drama. It's still pretty early, but I can easily see this being nominated for Best Picture by the end of the year. It's at least probably going to make my top 10 at the end of the year. It's an A movie for sure. It's dramatic, it's suspenseful, it's thrilling, it's just a great movie. So did you like Rush? Let me know. Leave a comment. I like dialogue.
That movie was a rush. I know Kung Fu.